How we doing, ladies and gentlemen, over on the YouTube side of things? This is going to be the DPS build for Aeona. This allows you to do some absolutely absurd DPS and shielding, as well as healing at the exact same time. She is the all-around character, and is by far the best character in the game, in my opinion. It is not even remotely fucking close to how absurdly powerful this character is, which is great, because I'm going to one-trick the shit out of it. So, with that being said, what makes her so damn good? Now, in this case, we're going to be going for an Oblivion build. Oblivion is the spender that you have access to that does her damage. She has two different ways to play. You can play a healing rendition with Amend Fate and Restore Continuity, and the Echoes of Ruin as a renew type of effect. I just put out that video that makes Aeona absolutely immortal. I would highly suggest you go take a look at it. But this is going to be the other side, the heaven and hell, if you will. We are about to enter hell, because I'm going to show you how to do some absurd damage to the point you'll make your DPS sad because you're out damaging them. So, I got two legendaries back to back from Tazari. No, I'm not kidding, it was fucking hilarious. And as a result, in the previous video, I showcased the healing rendition with the necklace, but this is going to be using the cloak. Now, you don't need the cloak to make this work, but it does definitely help and allow for some very, very stupid outcomes. This makes it so each time you cast Oblivion, you gain a 100% cooldown acceleration for 1.5 seconds. Now, what it doesn't tell you is that each cast of Oblivion stacks on top of each other, meaning you can get your cooldown reduction going absurdly fast, which will then allow you to rotate your cooldowns in some very absurd fucking ways. So, let's go into the skill tree real fast. Actually, let's give you a quick rundown of how this character works. In case you've never seen anything on her, she is a healer who's able to do DPS. So, she has Echoes of Ruin, which is basically Shadow Word Pain. In this case, I also have Kindling on my weapon, which gives me a bit of an extra heal over time. She has Penance, which is Temporal Barrage. She has Unfolding Doom, which gives you a Colossal Smash type effect, which increases the damage you deal to the target for 20 seconds while this is on them. She has Vampiric Touch, which is a damage over time effect, to which you can put 4 damage over time effects, and then you use Oblivion, and you get 5. I don't have Amethyst Splinters yet. I can fill the whole panel. We'll get there. So, Oblivion is the primary thing we're going to be focusing on, but you see that she has a shield here. That's because Oblivion's damage will actually be overhealing and overshielding you. If you overheal from the Oblivion damage, you will gain our shield from the talent point that we have here, Oblivion's Embrace. So, let's go through the talents, and I'll show you how to get some stupid damage out of this character, shall we? So, Erasure is going to be our first node. Each time your Oblivion deals damage, it deals an additional 20% damage over 20 seconds accumulatively, meaning you can stack it on top of itself. So, this makes it so it basically becomes Devouring Plague, which is absolutely beautiful. We love that across the board. Shadow Priest, 12 out of 10. Big fan. So, we combine this with Euchronia, and each time you spend Chrono, which is your resource, you're granted 1 stack of Euchronia. Once you have 3 stacks, your next Oblivion is free. So, like so. Synchronicity. While you are above 50% Chrono, you deal 15% more damage with your abilities that don't spend it, but while you're below 50%, you generate 25% more. Which the generation portion is where we're really aiming for, because that's how you're going to get a lot more damage and a lot more mileage. So then we come down to Oblivion's Embrace. You can quite literally run just this and be fine without the legendary and go to town. But it gets absolutely crazy, so I figured I would showcase the fun part. This makes it so, like I said, any overhealing done by Oblivion on a player applies a shield on that player, absorbing 50% of the overhealing amount, stacking up to 30% of the target's maximum health. This shield will last 8 seconds, and your Oblivion crits will do 20% more damage. The crits will also give you overshield, so the harder you can make Oblivion hit, the better. Then we have Paradoxical Twist. While Fleeting Hour is active on you, Temporal Barrage is empowered. Temporal Barrage is the penance that I showcased before. When targeting an enemy, Temporal Barrage deals 20% more damage to your primary target and causes 2 additional bolts to hit nearby targets for 30% of the power. And then we have Echoes of Divinity, which gives you some of the craziest healing mileage you can get for a 1-point node. Each time you use one of your defensive heals, just in case things start to go bad, whenever you cleanse the stagger, then you will cleanse equal to 9% of the target's max health over 3 seconds. So, just to showcase, stack some stagger on myself. Pop a renew. And you'll see, slowly but surely, we just get rid of a shit ton of stagger. And of course, that is going across the entire team, and Restore Continuity will put that on the entire team. So you can get 9% times 3 for 1 button press. That can also be free if you use 3 stacks of Uchronia. I know. But I haven't even started the fun part yet. So, how do we do our damage rotation? So we want to use as many Oblivions as possible. We want to stack this Erasure dot either as big as possible, or we want to spread dot as many mobs as we can, depending on the scenario we're in. If we want to burst one target, we go fully into one target. If you want to AoE, you can AoE just as well. So, you're going to open with Unfolding Doom, which is going to generate your 20 Krona, and then increase all damage you deal to the target for 20 seconds. After that, you're going to use Echoes of Ruin and clip it instantly. And then from there, you're going to use Entropy's Claim, which will put your Vampiric Touch on the target. And then after that, you should have enough that you should be able to dump 1 or 2 Oblivions. After that, you can then pop your Fleeting Hour, go into Temporal Barrage, which will generate Krona per bolt, and then dump even more Oblivions after that. And then when you run out of Oblivions, you can drop a Zeraleth's Hunger, pop your ulti, and then Oblivion like a fucking psychopath. Which looks like this.
I've seen my victory.
That is a 30-second burst window. Healer, by the way. Healer, by the way. And if you'll notice, my Unfolding Doom was back off cooldown by the time I finished what I was doing, because, like I said, the cooldown from the legendary stacks on top of itself accumulatively. Meaning that you get the cooldown back on Temporal Barrage even faster while you're using the Oblivion. Which just leads to some absolutely absurd results. So, let's see if I can do the actual rotation correctly, shall we?
Your time is over.
Watch my cooldown timers. Notice how they get crazy quick? Try and keep the penance on rotating cooldown for as long as we can. Hit another one. Dump into him again. Refresh our dot. I'm still going, by the way. Still have damage. Still have damage. I still have damage, by the way. I can just loop into the next one. I'm out of mana. Zeraleth. I'm not done yet.
Destiny can wait.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the real Oblivion remastered.